in the studio today, as you can see behind me, and that's because, I am graduating soon, so I won't have access to these anymore, so we kind of got to make the most of it while we still can. And, today we're photographing some still lifes, kind of like always what I do if you're, been on this channel. And instead of doing, the normal crazy food stuff that I do, though, we're going to do, still stick in the commercial world, but just do some, cool shoes that I do have, because I think I could do some cool, takes on them. And kind of starting off, we are starting with my Vans National Geographic shoes. I've had these for a while, still pretty clean though, so that's definitely going to come in handy, but I thought, it was cool with the covers being on the shoes, and I could do some cool things, kind of with the background as, covers as well, and kind of just make it look pretty cool and commercial. You just got a lot of technical difficulties when your camera's all the way up here. It took some time, but I have everything finally set up just the way I want it. So my main light here is just a light with a 20-inch degree shining in front of these shoes here. And then my second light is this medium softbox pointing at the front of the shoes, just kind of give some nice soft light to everything and light everything up. And then my third light here is just this light back here with nothing on it, kind of just pointing it down as a fill light to kind of adds to the shadow, so there's not any there. And then we also just have the camera up top pointing straight down. And with the yellow seamless here, I don't need it for this picture because I'm just going to replace the background with the magazines anyway. But it kind of adds a nice yellow fill light to kind of tie everything together. And then for the next kind of set of pictures with the box, it just makes it easier just already being here. So this is the shot that we have right now. And now I'm just kind of going to play around with the position of the shoes. Alright, so now that we got the shoes, we're going to try and throw in the box. I think I'm going to stick with the camera up top. Starting off, might change it to a lower, different perspective, but don't really know how we're going to do it with the box really, so we're going to see how this goes. Alright, so we got kind of a nice setup here for these shoes with the box closed, so you can kind of, see the Vans and the National Geographic logo together. But it was actually kind of hard to picture this until I actually, moved the camera down and up front. And then, I actually kind of figured out that this could actually look good. Okay, so we got the shot here, and now it is just time to clean everything up and to take these images into Photoshop. So after I did the basic editing in Photoshop, kind of just getting the colors and everything the way I want, it was time to jump into Photoshop. And then the first thing I did in Photoshop was, make the background for the image. And the background is basically just kind of a collage of a bunch of National Geographic covers that I found on the internet. And then I kind of just lined them all up together. And it did take a little bit of time to do that just because I wanted it to, them to be all the same size and look perfect and kind of like a seamless collage. And, just had to make sure I got some, different ones. I didn't want to, use the same ones and kind of, focus on some topics that are going on today as well, which is kind of what, National Geographic is known for. So once I had the background done, it was time to put the shoes on top of the background. And to cut the shoes out, I just made 2 paths around the shoes. And paths are really great and very quickly for easily cutting stuff out like this in a professional way. To put the shoes and background together, I just used a layer mask from the paths that I made. And then after that, I kind of just cleaned it up a little bit and filled in some of the gaps, like where the shoelaces were, where I didn't quite get those in my path. And then once I had the shoes actually on the background, I thought the covers, there was just, too many of them and they were, too small and, there felt like too many and everything. So I kind of moved some of them around, the ones that I really wanted to keep because I felt like, they are very important for what's going on in the world. So I kind of just moved them around, and then I also made them bigger as well. So they kind of be more of, a presence and not, a bunch of, tiny covers. Then after that, it was all about matching the shoes and the background together to, kind of make them look seamless and like they actually belong. So I used a curves layer to kind of do some color correcting. And then also the shoe on the right was a little bit darker than the one on the left. So I lightened that up a bit and kind of just played around with that until I got them, the same color. And then I also did some LUTs kind of just to blend everything together as well. And then, kind of darkened the background a bit so it wasn't so prominent as well and, standing out as much as it does. And then the second image here, it actually didn't take me that long because it was kind of, a pretty simple fix that I wanted. But, like again, I started off in Lightroom, just kind of did, the basic color editing and all that. And then I took it into Photoshop and ran my frequency separation action just to kind of, clean up the shadows and darken them in some bits because I felt like, they were too distracting and too big for what I wanted for the image. So, just going around cleaning up the background and, all the shadows, it, took a little bit of time because I wanted it to be perfect, but, still didn't take that much time. And then once I had all the shadows and background fixed, it's kind of just moving on to the box. There were a lot of, spots and, stuff on it because it is, like kind of an old box. So I, fixed up and cleaned the box up so it looked, nice and smooth. And then also kind of darkened it a little bit because some of the yellow reflecting from the seamless kind of got onto the box and didn't make it look, black, which is what it's supposed to look like. And then the last thing I really just did was darken the inside of the shoe where, your foot goes because it is supposed to be black as well. It kind of had that yellow tint to it as well. Alright, so I think my images turned out good, especially because, this was my first time really doing shoot photography. And, shoot photography has kind of grown in the last couple of years because, the whole sneakerhead industry, it's kind of just, really taken off. And, I've had some, more free time this semester because I don't really have any heavy shooting classes. And then also because, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I am graduating soon, so I don't really have access to the studios anymore. So it's kind of just, making the most out of everything and trying something new. And, even though I was trying something new kind of in the shooting of what I'm shooting, I still kind of wanted to keep it to kind of my style. So instead of just, photographing the shoes kind of just, as they are, I wanted to kind of add, my fun, playful spin to, the shoes that I was photographing like I usually do with a lot of my still lifes.